So Ron Johnson the other day had a debate with Mandela Barnes, who's running against him, and he just came across as so deeply unlikable. I'm about to play a clip for you. This is, some highlights from the debate. I really think the last part is the most, the clearest example of who Ron Johnson is as a person. So let's dive into it and I'll break it down.
I worked all shifts starting my business.
Look, the biggest achievement in business was Ron Johnson saying, "I do." He married into his business. He didn't start that from the ground up.
All right. He's never signed the front of a paper.
By the way, Ron Johnson he's one of the worst senators. He really is. And he is sort of like a devotee of Ayn Rand. I mean, he's effectively probably like an anarcho-capitalist. And all he cares about is deregulation. All he cares about is cutting taxes for the rich. And he's also just, again, unlikable. You're about to see.
Paycheck. He doesn't have a clue how to create jobs. He certainly doesn't have a clue how the economy works and how you run a business. He doesn't.
Yep. Senator Johnson is...
Okay, to make the argument, this guy doesn't have a clue how to create jobs. Well, hold on. You are a senator. You are in the federal government. You also believe it is not the federal government's job to create jobs. What he means by that is you don't know how to unleash the private sector by cutting taxes for the rich and cutting taxes for corporations and deregulating. And again, with that philosophy, this country was hollowed out. From Reagan and onward, it happened under Reagan, it happened under George W. Bush, it happened under Trump, and the Democrats have only mildly pushed back on this around the edges. Like, they would kick up that top marginal rate from like 35 to 39%. Like, that's the extent of how the Democrats fought back against this neoliberal era. But like, what's happened in that era? The wealth did not trickle down. We were told it's going to trickle down. It did not trickle down. It made the debt and the deficit explode. And it also introduced boom-bust cycles. We didn't have stability in the economy in the economy anymore. After Roosevelt and the New Deal, with Glass-Steagall and all these different banking regulations, we had steady, consistent growth. Then we switched to Ron Johnson's philosophy, boom-bust cycles. And so it's just a weird criticism.
Taking a whole lot of credit for his business-in-law.
All right, we will move on.
There was also...
By the way, there's a poll that shows that Mandela Barnes is like 3 points down or something, and this is a race that he's supposed to get blown the fuck out in this race. He's supposed to lose by 10, 15 points. And so the fact that it's close really speaks to how disliked Ron Johnson is. And of course, Ron Johnson was directly involved with January 6th, and he's had a number of cringe quotes trying to like deflect responsibility for it.
An instance where Senator Johnson had to be sat down by the FBI and warned that he may be a Russian asset. We cannot trust Senator Johnson to protect democracy abroad because we can't even trust Senator Johnson to protect democracy here at home.
Mr. Johnson, you do have a chance on a rebuttal for that, and then we'll also...
The FBI set me up with a corrupt briefing and then leaked that to smear me. I am... No, I mean,
I'm sorry.
The audience is literally laughing at him.
All right.
He is referring to corruption with the FBI, which I've been trying to uncover and expose.
All right. You go first. What do you find admirable about your opponent?
Well, no, seriously. I do think, the senator is proven to be a family man, and I think that's admirable.
See, this is a common thing in debates. We saw it with Trump and Hillary. The moderator will be like, our divisions in this country are so deep, and there's a lot of partisanship, and there's a lot of polarization, so say something you like about your opponent. This is now like a common thing that happens. And so Mandela Barnes says, yeah, he's a family man, I like that, that's great. You're good to your family? Wonderful. Look at what Ron Johnson says.
So he had a good upbringing. I guess what puzzles me about that is with that upbringing, why is he turned against America? I mean, why does he find the founding of America awful?
Somehow,
it puzzles me.
We did not.
I said
Please,
we
audience.
said something admirable, and it is now time.
Oh man, he's just unlikable, man. Yeah, I like that he had a good upbringing, but then that puzzles me because, like, why'd you turn against America, bro? This is, you guys know, I've ranted about this before. It is a specific pet peeve of mine. The whole, like, You just hate the country, bro. And this goes back all the way to, honestly, the Bush era, when I was first, getting involved in politics, learning about politics, forming opinions on stuff. It was a thing that the right would attack the left with all the fucking time. Like, if you don't support the Iraq War, then you don't support America. You don't support the troops, bro. And I always thought that was so stupid. Why do you hate America, bro? You're a critic of George Bush? Why do you hate America, bro? And people on the right, it would be like a Pavlovian response that they were, guided into by right-wing media. And they would sincerely say that. They would sincerely think, well, you must hate the country because you're criticizing the Iraq War. And it's just, you know what it is? It's a cop-out. It's a cheat code intellectually to not engage with the actual arguments of the other side. And that's why I hate it so much. Because, it's easy to just justify any sort of position you have if when you put your head down on your pillow at night, you say, my opponents are innately evil and they just hate the country and they're actively trying to bring it down. No. Obviously, what Mandela Barnes is in favor of is improving the country in a different way than you. Now, you don't think it's improvement. Got it, right? Like, you don't agree with the policies, but it stems from a place of, we think X, Y, and Z would fix the country, so let's do that to try and fix the country. Whether it's raising the minimum wage, bringing back strong unions, ending wars, raising taxes on the wealthy. I know you don't like those things, but you can acknowledge that your opponent thinks this is what would make the country better. But he doesn't do that. He's, why do you hate America, bro? Why do you hate America, bro? There's an argument of like, you're intentionally trying to hurt the country with what you believe and what you're trying to implement. And I have zero respect for that intellectually. I find it stunningly dishonest and disingenuous. So, anyway, it would be a great pickup if Ron Johnson got beat down and Ron Johnson lost. I would love that so much. I'd love that so much. Because he really is one of the dumbest senators. We've covered him before. He said a number of idiotic things. And just add this to the list. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.